Mrs. Kephart, what about the issue of what could be done at the state level? We have this thing called Team Volusia, and we had one person running it, a Helen Coffin, and she lasted 11 and a half months, big bucks. We have a new gentleman in place now. Do you think the state needs to facilitate this like he says, or is there another way of going about it from your point of view?
Well, I think it's important that the state and local levels work together. And
You think they are?
At times, no, I don't think so at all. I don't honestly think that even our state legislators are working in the best interest of their citizens. The citizens need to know what is going on. They need to know every day what is going on. I can provide that. I have a flexible schedule. I can be in the office there at the citizens' access at any point. You know, I think it's very important that we be transparent here. You know, we have ethics that we definitely need to consider here. I think we also need to be able to all work together for the best interests of our area. And quite honestly, I don't know that the citizens were all that pleased with Mr. Hood's time in office and as mayor. And I can honestly tell you too, my daughter attends Easter Seals, which is one of the schools that is his charitable organization. And I am there every day. And they can't tell me the last time that they saw him there.
Briefly, a rebuttal, just a brief rebuttal.
Well, let me just deal with Easter Seals. I'm an actual honorary life board member because of the work I've done with Easter Seals.
Yes, and they don't know the last time you were there.
Man, please.
I was chairman of the Easter Seals charter school that your daughter goes to. I was the chairman of the group that raised the money to build the facility that your daughter goes to. I was also the gentleman who raised the money and created the autism program that did not exist in Volusia, Flagler County until just recently. So I don't know who you're talking to, but if you go look, you'll see that not only that, but I've gotten the highest award Easter Seals National gives to anybody in the country, which is the Edgar Allan Poe Award for the service I've given to Easter Seals. If
Yes,
you look
and
at
that
my
was
back,
years ago. Your service today, you were not there.
All right, we'll end that right there. We have time for two citizens if they want to come up and speak. Sir, come on up and give your full name and your home community.
Excuse me. My name is Jim Audie, and I live in Wilbur by the Sea. And basically I have the same question I had for the state candidates last night for the state senate. And we have a system now in place where we put judges in front of the voters. But it's kind of a sham system because they're always retained at greater than 80%. And the Supreme Court justices, if they're going to face the public for some type of election, do you think we need to devise a better system to do that rather than a simple retention ballot where they're always retained at greater than 80%? Do either of you believe we need something like that?
Go ahead, Dave.
no, I don't. I mean, the system, I kind of like the federal government system where you become a judge, you have to be approved by the Senate as well as the governor, and then you're appointed, and unless you've created a felony or you've been incompetent or you've got some demonstrable offense, then you're there.
Well, I understand that, and that is the case at the federal level. But at the state, we do bring them back to face the electorate.
I believe it's called, do we retain?
Retention ballots. Right. And they're always retained at almost 80% because people don't know anything about them. I'm asking you if you think either should we take them off the ballot and have them be like federal judges, or if we're going to put them on there, should there be a way they're more accountable instead of just a simple retention?
The problem,
I can't recall the last time one was
We have to
removed.
wrap this up.
the problem with the system is, I'm a lawyer.
I understand.
Even most lawyers couldn't tell you to a great extent whether these Supreme Court justices are doing a good job or a bad job.
Yes, sir.
Much less the public, who doesn't have the day-to-day working with the Supreme Court. So I think the whole retention thing has a fundamental flaw in that nobody's really making intelligent decisions on that.
It needs to go.
Yes.
I will tell everybody here that as someone who's come to courts at Volusia County at the circuit level, that most judges in the county are initially appointed by the governor, and then they run, and if they have a challenger, if they're reelected, they almost never have an opponent. So I don't know what the difference is, but thank you. One more person.
Chief, gonna answer it?
Is there anything to add?
I think it's important that our citizens have a say in who's in office and who's representing them.
Excellent, thank you. You are Mrs. Kephart's husband? I would prefer not to cause issues with that. You, sir, in an orange shirt. I apologize, though, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Ted Knopfel. I live in Port Orange, and I wonder if you could both address and explain what you consider to be the proper role of the state in these United States of America. Many people today are upset with the notion that the states have become administrative outposts for the federal government. So if you could address that term specifically, the notion that they are administrative outposts, and perhaps address the supremacy clause just for a minute. It says that the laws of the state, the United States, are supreme if they're made in pursuant of the Constitution. Thank you, Mark.
Hold on, sir, before you do that, could you just tell us for transparency, didn't you run for public office?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Which office is that?
Right here in Port Orange City Council.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If you want to answer the question first, Ms. Kephart.
Yes, I'd like to say once again that at the state level, we are here to represent our citizens. And if it needs to go further than that, then it should.
No, frankly, the law is that the way the Constitution was set up, that the federal government reserves certain rights, and then all other rights are the rights of the state. And that's what needs to be respected. And that at the end of the day, if we're believing in a constitutional government, which was the greatest document drafted in mankind and civilization, we should follow that. And what that Constitution says, here's what the federal government can do. If it's not identified in the Constitution, then it is a right, it's a policy, it's an issue that only the state governments have the right to deal with.
Okay. Now we've come to the point where we're in closing arguments. We had opening statements and we're in closing arguments. I'd like to put a caveat in the closing arguments to try to be as specific as possible to what your top priority would be and why you should be elected over your opponent. And I'll start with you, Mrs. Kephart.
Well,
Top priority.
top priority for me is education. You know, I think that education will benefit our economy, our jobs, and our area. So there's several reasons that will trickle off of bettering our education system. And I'd like to also say that as your state representative, I am giving our citizens a voice. I'm giving you a chance to have input into what goes on in our state, into what laws are passed. I'd also like to say that I am not doing this simply as a bucket list item. I am running because I genuinely care about our area and I want to protect it. I feel that we have a strong county and it can be made even better. Now, by electing me, I will provide a better education system, I'll help provide jobs, and I'll protect our veterans. And through this, I will give you all a voice in what is going on in our area.
Does she still have time left?
Yeah, she's got a minute more.
If you would like to continue, or are you finished?
I'm finished.
Okay, thank you. Again, Challenger Hood, your top priority and why the voters should put you in instead of your opponent.
My top priority is to bring fiscal responsibility to the state of Florida so that we're spending the money that we do get in a way that we can effectively do the things that need to be done, which is to deal with the pension program in the state. We got to bring the manufacturing base to the state, and we need to take the money that we can save and bring the economy so that it raises everybody. Everybody, have you ever heard a politician that didn't tell you they were getting rid of a waste in government? They love education. We're going to bring more jobs. Well, the difference between me and my very worthy opponent is very simple. I've actually done those things, and I've given you a specific way of I'm going to do it. I'm not just going to talk platitudes. It doesn't take any politician to say, I'm going to listen to people, I'm going to do these things. Ask yourself, when have you ever asked a politician, give me a specific thing you're going to do? If you read my website, if you look at my history, I've gotten things done. When I took over Habitat for Humanity, we increased the production by 500% a year for Habitat. When we went to Easter seals, we doubled the services for Easter seals. When I was mayor, we did all the things I said we were going to do, and I did them specifically. If you're looking for a difference, I've got, since 1978, a long list of public service in which I've actually gotten things done. And then I've also been an elected official, so I know what it means to listen. I will be there. There will be an ability for you always to contact me. And I actually believe the ethics ought to be that every time somebody talks to me on any issue, there'll be a ledger at my office so that everybody can see who I talk to, when I talk to them, and what I talk to them about. And there will also be the additional thing that not once in my career will I ever take a dime for lunch, breakfast, dinner, golf, or anything. If you're going to talk to Dave Hood, you're going to talk to me in public, and we're going to make sure everybody in the world knows. I'm the one person who's effective, that's got a history of getting things done, and I have a specific program on how to get those things done. Thank you.
For Christina Spencer-Kephart and for Dave Hood, two worthy challengers for the seat in District 25. This is Henry Frederick, and I wanted you to give them another round of applause. Thank you, please.